When it comes to using speculation to change one's life, South Koreans are undoubtedly the most explosive element in East Asia. According to a report published by South Korea's Financial Intelligence Unit, by the end of 2024, the number of active users registered with crypto exchanges in the country had grown to 9.7 million. The total number of people trading digital currencies has already surpassed 16 million, representing over 30% of the Korean population. Considering that South Korea's population is around 51 million people, this means that nearly 1 in 3 individuals is investing in cryptocurrencies, mostly as individuals aged between 30 and 40. The same report indicates that, in the second half of 2024 alone, the volume of crypto transactions grew significantly, with an average daily volume of $12 billion in December, surpassing the daily trading volume of the country's traditional stock exchanges. By the end of 2024, the total value of cryptocurrencies under custody in Korean exchanges exceeded 100 trillion won, approximately $74.8 billion. In other words, Koreans take this business of getting rich overnight seriously. After the stock craze, real estate speculation, and the scratch card mania, the land of kimchi has once again dived headfirst into the crypto fever. Thousands of young people have returned to perch on the dream terrace. In fact, since 2017, South Korea has already accounted for 20% of the global Bitcoin trading volume. At its peak, BTC was traded at a premium of up to 20–40% compared to the international market. But don't think it was due to some libertarian philosophy about blockchain. The only thing the Korean investor wanted to know was, how do I make money and get out? In the jargon of the field, they call this graduating. But most don't graduate. Many people go broke, have breakdowns, and some even jump into the river. In June 2021, a Ponzi scheme exploded in the Korean crypto market, deceiving over 70,000 people and causing losses of nearly 4 trillion won. Many were retirees who didn't even know exactly what they were buying. In May 2022, the collapse of the Luna currency, nicknamed the Maotai of the crypto market, caused the coin to plummet from $119 to less than $0.002 in a few weeks. More than 200,000 Koreans lost everything. The most searched term on Korean Google, Mapo Bridge, the preferred spot for those thinking of jumping into the Han River. Less than a year later, Koreans were already back on the terrace, betting big on the crypto market. The question is, if this market has already shown itself to be a constantly spinning guillotine, why do so many people keep putting their heads in? The truth is that Koreans' addiction isn't just to crypto, it's to anything that involves speculation. Stocks? They love them. Real estate? That too. Scratch cards? Go for it. In 2021, South Korea already had more than 60 million active stock market accounts, more than the total number of inhabitants. Among Samsung shareholders, 350,000 are under 20 years old, and at every annual shareholders meeting, it's already common to see elementary school students. Children buying stocks, literally. The symptoms of obsession have spread so much that Korean psychiatrists have already coined a term, stock addiction. People who can't eat, sleep, or work without monitoring real-time stock prices. Lottery sales that year reached 6 trillion won, $4.16 billion, with an annual growth of nearly 10%. More than 60% of the population buys at least one ticket per year. There's even a saying among Korean workers. In the pocket, 2 pieces of paper. One is the lottery ticket, the other, the resignation letter. Young people bet everything on the dream of getting rich suddenly. The middle class plays the hot potato game with real estate and stocks. In 2023, the eggshell apartment scandal exploded properties rented by owners who used tenants' deposits to speculate in the market. With rising interest rates, the house of cards collapsed, and those who paid the price were the young people who lost their own deposits. Deep down, all this desperation for quick profit stems from a harsh reality. South Korea has become a society where social mobility has practically died. The only way to change one's life now is by trying one's luck in an all-or-nothing gamble. Since the 1997 financial crisis, Koreans have stopped believing in the fable that hard work leads to success. With the US controlling much of the country's financial system and major companies, South Korea was pushed into a new normal: slow growth, unstable jobs, and brutal inequality not much different from Japan. By the way, today, South Korea is experiencing three simultaneous crises: accelerated aging, a very low birth rate, and a growing social abyss. On the internet, some say, if you take Seoul off the map, half of Korea disappears. And it's not an exaggeration. With 50 million inhabitants, almost half live in the Seoul metropolitan area. All major sectors from finance to technology, including automobiles and shipyards, are headquartered there. Seoul occupies only 0.6% of the country's territory, 605 square kilometers, but concentrates nearly 10 million people and accounts for 21% of the national GDP. The average price per square meter? Over $2,950. In the upscale Gangnam district? Over $6,900. In other words, if you weren't born in Seoul, you'll have to win in insane mode, first with diplomas, then with the real estate market's Russian roulette. That's why many young people simply give up. Either they lie down on the floor, have the famous Korean tankbing, or they try to go all in on the stock market or crypto market. The uncontrolled rise of the capital only accelerates the depopulation of the interior, and with it comes the concentration of wealth and social inequality. Currently, the richest 10% holds 60% of the national income. The richest 20% own 98.6% of the properties. Chaebol groups like Samsung, LG, and Hyundai generate 80% of the GDP, but offer less than 10% of the jobs. Most young people work in small companies with low wages and no stability. In 2023, the average annual income in South Korea was about $41,300, or around $3.440 per month, more than what a mid-level professional earns in American cities like Dallas or Miami. But the cost of living is simply absurd. According to recent data from the Korean press, in April 2024, eating out increased by 3%. Fresh food prices rose by over 20%. Tteokbokki, spicy rice cake, became 5% more expensive. Small tomatoes? Around $11 per kilo. 1.2 kilograms of beef? About $105. 10 kilograms of rice? $30. 3 kilograms of apples? $40. 3 kilograms of potatoes? $12. In other words, Koreans may earn more than the average American outside major cities, but they pay triple for essential daily items. And then, the average worker, the one working non-stop, pulling overtime in call centers, realizes that a month's salary barely covers a third of what an heir earns without even getting out of bed. The conclusion? Working isn't worth it. This reality is pushing Korean youth to two extremes. Some dream of absolute stability and become obsessed with civil service exams. Others go all in, speculating with every last drop of hope. More than 60% of Koreans still dream of getting rich through stocks, lotteries, or cryptocurrencies. Today, the number of investors in the country has already surpassed 20% of the population. In a country where real estate is unreachable and income is concentrated in the hands of a few, speculation has become the only path to try and change one's life. Yes, the odds are slim. But for many, it's the only chance. If it's not to the top, then straight to the bottom. And that's the portrait of Korean youth today. When the social ladder is locked, young people are left with only two options: lie down or bet their lives. In the end, what happens in Korea doesn't really stay in Korea. This obsession with betting everything, whether it's on stocks, crypto, or scratch-off tickets, feels a bit too familiar for those of us living in all-or-nothing mode. And let's be honest, when the cost of living is suffocating, your paycheck barely covers the basics, and the top of the social ladder seems out of reach, risking it all starts to feel like the only way out. Not everyone makes it, some even fly, but most just keep spinning the roulette wheel, hoping for a lucky break. And the truth is, this Korean dilemma isn't that different from what many people face here in the West. For some, taking the gamble is the only way to change their life, even if the game feels more rigged than ever. But what about you? Do you think it's worth going all in, or is it better to walk away while you still can? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. See you in the next one.